Welcome to Coffee and a Conversation hosted by CJ Abernathy for South Dakota District 23 Senate 2020. A father, an activist, a Marine Corps combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, Purple Heart recipient with a bachelor's degree in information technology software engineering. CJ is the executive producer for the Adam vs. The Man podcast with Adam Kokesh, and the CEO of Internet Warlords, the War for the Internet, as well as a former 2018 South Dakota Libertarian gubernatorial candidate, and a 2020 South Dakota delegate to the Libertarian National Convention. If you would like to join this broadcast, click the link in the description. Coffee and a Conversation starts now. Have a great day or don't. The choice is always yours.
Oh, that's some good coffee right there. Morning, everybody. It's your boy CJ, the Internet Warlord, coming to you live and loud from the great state of Meth Dakota. You know, Meth Dakota, it's the state just south of North Dakota. That Dakota, the state formerly known as South Dakota until the Queen of Meth herself, Governor Kristi Noem, did really, I was going to say, I thought they made this all about Kristi Noem, but I can. So we'll just start off as we always do in South Dakota. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem declares lockdowns are useless as state's COVID-19 cases soar. She defended her hands-off approach to managing the pandemic. I like to think a small part of it, and again, I know this is a stretch, but I like to think that a small part of it is because there's people like me in South Dakota that Kristi's aware of. And this is such a small state, and it is sparsely populated, and communities are small and localized for the most part, minus a few bigger cities. And, you know, this is where I'm at with COVID, you guys, and I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm team herd immunity at this point. I'm team, if you're going to die from COVID, you're going to die from COVID. That's just it. Like, we are at the breaking point in our, I don't want to say nation's history, but we're at a crossroads, so to speak, where if we continue down this path of stupid, we might never have a free country ever. I mean, you thought it was bad before. It's bad now. And I hate saying this. You know, I would love to look at this camera and go, hey guys, the world's a nice place. The government actually upholds your rights and your interests, and they're not bought and paid for by corporate lobbyists and a corporate machine that's really, in all honesty, it's not even like we don't have a fake news problem. We have a fake government problem. You know, I got my pocket constitution here from patriotbeef.com. Highly recommend it. And I read this thing. You know, I've read this thing so many times. A lot of it live in the morning before most people are even awake. And I remember going through, you know, the Declaration of Independence. And I remember reading all the shit that the people were saying was going on in the colonies and in their courts and in their governments, respective bodies. And you look at where we're at now and you just go, what the fuck? we are in over our heads. We are beyond a point where even I vote for a third party, right? No secret, I'm voting for Jo Jorgensen. She's the therapist in the race, not the rapist in the race. But I'm voting for her, and to me, that vote, while some call wasted, I call it a stand on principle. I call it my vote is my consent to be governed, and I'm not going to give consent to Donald Trump or Joe Biden. That's just never going to happen. It's kind of like wrestling. You guys ever watch wrestling? I like to watch wrestling, and on the pay-per-view called Clash of Champions, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, fighting his cousin, Jey Uso. And the tribal chief wants to be acknowledged as the tribal chief. He's the tribal chief. Rawr. Acknowledge me, he says. And this isn't how it works. See, you either have a constitutional country or you don't. And right now, at least I would say there's at least 85 to 100 million mentally retarded Americans in this country. Yeah, I know. Not a popular thing or word to say in 2020, but it's the truth. And it needs to be heard. Or at least said, even if it isn't the popular message of the day. That at least 90% of the voting population in this country is mentally retarded. Now, we take, and again, has attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds. I mean, and what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to wait? You know what? I realize it now. I need more coffee. Maybe it's more coffee. Maybe I need more sips of coffee. Good. Oh, look. An actual alarm. Matt, the janitor of Freedom, approves this message. You could have been the custodian of freedom. It blows my mind. Like, listen, I want to be positive. I can't proverbially suck the dick of Donald Trump. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't kiss the ass of Joe Biden. You have a constitutional country or you don't. A constitutional government or you don't. It's not this gray area. Now, Democrats, I don't think they even know what the Constitution is. I think they hear words and it goes in one ear and out the fucking other. But before Republicans get too far ahead of me here, you're just as equally stupid. Because you also hear words and they go in one ear and out the other. And you know what's the sad part? Again, I could be on here as fake as fuck. I could sit right here and be like, hey guys, Donald Trump is so great. Hey guys, have you seen all the kids Joe Biden sniffed lately? Oh, that's so awesome. I hope he sniffs more. Obviously, those are fucking just too out there mentalities. But somewhere out there are 4 dudes getting together, you know? What up, bro? Yeah, man, you see what Donald Trump said on Twitter? I don't know why I had to put glasses on. Yeah, man, I saw what Donald Trump said on Twitter. Yeah, isn't he the greatest president? I mean, imagine a MAGA circle jerk. I mean, you know, it's not until you realize, like in wrestling, that they can pump audio into the arena. And so the individual will think it's a group of people cheering a certain way. And they feel like, oh, they belong, so they'll boo or cheer in response to that. But really, it's all controlled. Like if you watch wrestling today with the COVID stuff, exposes it completely. WWE's got this Thunderdome where people can watch a viewing experience when it's been proven that that thing is fake as fuck. They're taking clips of people and using them as reactions. They're recording their reactions, and they're pumping sound from previous arenas. And get their hands on cheer and boo and 1, 2, 3, all the things that we used to do organically, allegedly, as a people in these entertaining areas. They're now using in politic. And it's crazy. It's a show. It's fake. And again, this isn't the popular message. I'm not sitting here like, right now, for example, my daughter's watching a guy by the name of Unspeakable. The dude has millions of views, played video games, built Lego houses, done some crazy, silly antics. Millions of dollars. Bought his own private island off of YouTube revenue streaming. And we still have issues with, like, real issues in this world. But yeah, this guy can walk around and make millions of dollars just off of YouTube. Of course, people aren't going to watch a video like this where I call 90% of the voting population of a country retarded, when they could watch this dude who's just sticking his head in the sand, proverbial speaking, in this video, and just giving you that dumb, mindless bullshit. There's a part of me, and I'll entertain it for a moment, that wishes I could indulge that side of ignorance, that wishes that I could just put on a face that says I don't give a fuck about politics. And if I did, I wish I could put on that face that said, you know what, I'll just buy into the system. I'll just support your mainstream candidates. I'll just be that Biden supporter, that Trump supporter, or, be the same as you. Joe who? Joe what? Huh? What's her name? Huh? I never heard of him. You mean Joe Jorgensen? Woman, president, candidate. I mean, these people that claim to be intellectually superior are the same people that can't give you a breakdown analysis of the true look of our country. Because they have to do it through a skewed lens. Because the audience on the other end of the screen needs and wants their message to be solidified through their talking heads. And it's obvious to me. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking stupid too. So before you get all butthurt, because CJ said that because I'm voting for Trump, I'm retarded. It's okay. We can all be retarded. Some of us are a little less retarded than others. It's unfortunate that this is called Darwinism. This is, and again, I go back to the whole start of this. Lockdowns are useless. So I don't think lockdowns are useless. I think governments are useless. And I think politicians are useless. And I think laws, yes, even laws that are unconstitutional are useless. But they get passed. And then you wonder why people like me are like, hey, I'm running for Senate. People like Mercedes running for Senate. Because these laws get passed and they're useless to people. They hurt people. They violate rights and interests. They prop up state and corporate privileges and interests. And so then we as people who are like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like, I'm just trying to raise some chickens. Or I'm just a truck driver who likes to internet warlord on Saturday. All of a sudden, we go from, well, being all of this and that to now all of a sudden we're candidates. We're running for public office. We're going to events. We're protesting. We're debating. We're meeting people. We're having interviews. We're doing all these things. And why do we do it? It's certainly not for my mental health. I mean, so much so that I know there's a specific day out of the week where I have to focus on my mental health. Maybe, possibly, to not, break down and realize how fucked the world is. And, it's not about, I feel like I'm venting a lot this morning. And it's not that I'm trying to be such a negative Nancy. Yesterday, I kind of liken it to our conversation about torture. And I know that's a huge turn for some people who'd be like, what the fuck, torture? Yeah, Adam versus the man. We talked about torture, war crimes, things of that nature. And it gets to your brain noodle. And I think that's where a lot of voters are living, is in that comfortable lie. Well, at least the Republican Party says thank you for your service. At least the Democrats, will bail you out if you, go and riot. I mean, there's a lot to say. I feel like I couldn't cover it all in 1 hour. I don't know. And of course, I have the hardest time keeping people's attention spans. It's a challenge. Mercedes, did you want to join today, or are you just watching backstage today? Thumbs up, thumbs down. It's up to you. Now you're a 50-50 booking. Okay, fair enough. Well, that's okay, because I got one more story that I'm going to cover, and you'll probably want in after this one. Because knowing you've got an opinion, I'm sure. Facebook bans all QAnon groups as dangerous amid surging misinformation. And I absolutely find this hilarious, because these are the same people that were saying that there are underground tunnels of trafficked children in sex trafficking rings that are spread out all across the United States. And now, of course, they are misinformation. Now, I could go into the photos of Q being President Trump rallies, Q being a dominant supporter of the president. And there was very much a real conspiracy amongst the Q crowd that said that those that get COVID, excuse me, the conspiracy theory goes, as a connoisseur of conspiracy, as I like to be known by sometimes, a connoisseur, a fine, like, you got to be able to, You got to be able to sip the conspiracy and be a connoisseur of the conspiracy. And then in this conspiracy, the Q conspiracy, Trump is a pedophile, and you say, wait, Trump is being supported by Q. Yes, but there was Q logic, and they did this to many celebrities. The war between Republicans and Hollywood has been forever. And so when COVID first came out, it started with Tom Hanks. He was being extradited from Australia or something like that when he got COVID. And then he was moving to Greece with his wife, Rita Wilson, because they were going to extradite him. And Greece is one of the only countries in the world that has no extradition laws to the United States. And so they went there, and that drove the whole Q conspiracy kiddo theory into anybody that comes down with COVID is a pedophile waiting to go to Gitmo. And the government's tracking you and hunting you down, and you're a part of the human trafficking of children for sex trafficking, and in these tunnels that are underground in the United States, and these, what do they call them, deep underground bases, military bases, whatever, which implies again that there's military that are conducting child sex trafficking. You see how Q's a really weird fucking theory, and it makes it so you want again. I'm not saying this is almost like the baker and the cake scenario. Like, can you force a baker to bake the Nazi a cake? Let's say the baker's Jewish, and the customer's Nazi, and they want to put like images of the Holocaust on a cake, and they want you to put that on there for them. And you're gonna morally go, I don't know, maybe the customer is somebody that wants to put like dead baby parts on the cake, like a weird abortion cake or something, with like taking doll parts and like putting like, disemboweling baby parts on a cake. And you're telling me that you're going to make the baker bake the cake, right? Well, this is kind of like Facebook saying, hey, we're not going to host QAnon. Well, QAnon is actually called Mark Zuckerberg a pedophile. That was a fact for a while there that Q was doing. And I've always been that ever since Where We Go One, Where We Go All came out, I've always been you all are fucking idiots flying right off a fucking cliff. Y'all are retarded for even believing half of this shit you're looking at. But people dove, and they dove right in, and they started supporting Trump. So I guess the key points is Facebook classified the QAnon conspiracy movement as dangerous and being removed from Facebook groups and pages. The social media giant also removed Instagram accounts that hold themselves out as representatives of the movement. Facebook staff will now treat QAnon like other militarized bodies, seeking out and deleting groups' pages, the company said in a blog post. Now, I don't know. You can kind of tell that this is that crowd, You look at it, you're like, yeah, it's a Trump rally, It's got that thin-skinned blue line flag in the background. It's got people who are obviously lacking in, I don't know, freedom. I don't know, individuality, self-ownership. These are people, I'm sure 150 years ago, if you would have told them what the world looks like now, they would have told you no fucking way. And I'm sure 150 years from now, they're going to tell you, this country was fucked from the get-go. I mean, that's what we're looking at back now. We're like, hey, man, people want to say this country was great, and I'm looking back going like, yeah, murder, war, slavery, unconstitutional laws. I mean, civil asset forfeitures, women were property. I mean, and again, blacks couldn't vote, women couldn't vote. But you look at something like this, and it's easy to see how identity politics and mental health are hand in hand. And that's just it. You know, I've got people in my friends list that are Q supporters. Where we go one, we go all. Just dumb. If there's anything that I've ever seen that takes away individuality and says we are a collectivism, we're starting to walk down these roads that these people hate. Did I just say these people? I meant those people. You people. You voters of the duopoly. Mercedes, I think I'm having one of them days. Did you you up or down? You got a comment? All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen.
I see you're having one of those days. Oh, I am too. Hello.
I'm having one of those days. I see you backstage. I figured you might have some thoughts. You might want to
okay, so we have to get back to how Q was created, when it was created, where it was created from, what platform it was created from, and then you have to dive into the history of Q's conspiracies, because I don't believe them, but I've been tracking them because the masses believe them, and it's important to be aware of what people believe, because belief systems are the most powerful tool in the world. So, this Q guy isn't always wrong, and that's why his people are all like, everything he says is right, because there are things that he comes out with, kind of like me and my conspiracy theories, and sometimes they're not that far off. Do I believe he's a government official that is giving the truth of the deep state to his followers? No. Do I think it's a government official using emotional manipulation against Trump supporters and people who are easily manipulated to keep them distracted during the election, because we are finding 30 plus kids at a time in the last couple weeks that are like being rescued? Like, that has been happening, but it's been obscured because of conspiracy theorists.
It's not QAnon. No, it's not
no,
the
but that's
plan.
What I mean. But that's what I mean is, you only need a little bit of truth in order to fool people into thinking that you are correct. And
but remember that time they said that if you got COVID,
you were a pedophile. I know, which is why it's so great now that this is happening. But like with Facebook banning them, they're doing that because the government's putting pressure on Facebook to control their space because of the power, the psychological power and addiction factor of the social medias. Like, the government's losing control because of the internet, and they're trying to maintain it any way they can.
There's no way the government's going to be able to control the internet
That's
right now.
But that's what I mean. Is we have the internet. We don't need the government. We don't need the federal government if we have the internet, because we don't need them to communicate with other countries.
In your mind's eye, you know right now we're having this civil, cordial morning conversation, but right now on the interwebs are some of the deepest, darkest, dirtiest, disgusting, most heinous of things going on right now.
Yeah, totally.
And the government thinks that they can control it.
Yeah, and they can't control it. You can't control the internet. It's the Wild West of our intellect. There is no laws in the West, which means that as people on the internet encounter these bad things, either we take care of it or we find the people who are doing it.
Listen, I'm not saying they can't have a QAnon website. They can't be on the internet. I think Facebook is saying, hey, I'm that baker and I'm not baking you that cake.
I'm not baking that dead baby Nazi cake anymore.
Yeah, and you
That's
know what?
literally what's happening.
But Mercedes, come on, do you? I mean, again, the libertarian in me says right to refuse service to anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
so
No, you have the absolute right to refuse service to any goddamn person you want, as long as it's for a decent reason. Like somebody coming in and being black, and you denying them service because they're black. Okay, that's not a good reason because they can't help being black. Okay, but also that's when we get into the discrimination. And that's just it. Is do you have the right to discriminate based on your own personal hates? Yes, you technically do. But once they start impacting another person's life, like a doctor can't refuse you service because you're black. Like,
has there been any doctors in the United States that have tried to refuse service for being black in the last 20 years?
If they have, we haven't heard
or
of it.
White or Asian?
Okay. If you have a doctor fuck up your life and file malpractice, so blacklist you for the rest of your life if you sue them.
Yeah, that doesn't matter what color you are at that point.
But that's what I mean, is those kind of things. And I hate QAnon because they make my life harder because people like conspiracy theories. But even if the big conspiracy theorists are looking at Q going, some of your stuff is okay, but I see what you're doing and we don't like it.
Right, but again, my thing goes to, it's all fun and games until you say, like, for example, that these certain celebrities are waiting for Gitmo or have already been killed because they have COVID, and COVID really means
you're a pedophile.
That you're a pedophile waiting extradition to Gitmo. And so you say these things, you put it out there, and then your fearless leader gets it, and then all of a sudden, conveniently, Facebook's like, oh, let's help you out after your biggest blunder here, homie. We're just going to remove you.
Or were they just waiting because if they would have banned him before, people would have been completely outraged. But if you have all these theories and then the leader gets sick, that means the jig is up. That means that they can safely remove them without any backlash because the jig is up.
Well, you did see the picture I posted in the Adam versus the Man Producers Club. It's got two different looking Donald Trumps.
Actually, I did. And that is actually medically explainable because dude wears makeup all the fucking time. Dexamethasone makes you swell and retain water like no one's business. And COVID is a legitimate illness that legitimately makes you look like shit. Y'all saw me while I was sick. I looked like shit.
So you're just justifying the body double right now. Real Trump is in Gitmo, and he's going to lose the election to Biden. And
honestly, how do we know he didn't die in the hospital and they are just trying to cover it up? How come he was only in for 3 days? And why aren't they telling us the truth about his treatment?
Because they have the body double ready to go.
Or he died. He died. He didn't go to the ER. He died, and they're like, fuck. And then they put the body double in there. But he's also been tweeting on an average of 10 to 5 minutes today.
Like, trying to be way more Trump than Trump is Trump.
No, he's shitposting.
That's being more Trump than you have to be. So maybe it's a fake Trump. Maybe it's not the real Trump, and maybe he is just actually either dead or gone. I mean,
as long
your
as
microphone is you're helicoptering me again.
Shit.
It's live, folks.
Yeah, live, coming to you from my basement.
Pre-recorded interview, right?
Is this better?
That's great.
Oh, great. I'm so glad I could help you.
Me too. All right, so Trump is dead, and that's a body double, and
Biden's gonna win. And
Biden's
actually,
gonna win.
No, I think because we're gonna call him out on the body double. The fake Trump's gonna die. Pence is gonna take over for the rest of the year until January, and then there's gonna be a military coup, and we're gonna fall into chaos, and Viva for Vendetta will be true.
You know. Listen, I it's kind of like the choose your own apocalypse adventure.
Oh, I'm still waiting on the Yellowstone one. They're preparing for that thing to blow any day now.
Oh, lovely.
Well,
Now,
you and I are both within the ash range. The not hot.
yeah.
You and I will be fine. Anybody west of us is fucked.
Maybe.
No, maybe.
We'll
Only
see.
truth.
We'll see. So,
Get out of here.
So, Mercedes, I've been thinking about this one for a minute. And stand by, Trump supporters, and stand back and stand by.
Stand back. Fuck.
You guys remember when he threw the militia under the bus and said, stand back, stand by, and the militia's like, yeah, we're getting our chubbies on, thinking the president's talking directly to them through their screen, which is, there's a word for that. It's called psychosis.
Yeah.
And then he disavows the Proud Boys the next day.
Backpedals. Go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Magically says. My Q theory is not that you are a pedophile if you have COVID. It's that there's a high population of white supremacists in that area.
You've had COVID 3 times.
And there's a high population of white supremacists in my area.
Mm.
And none of them are wearing masks. And actually, this biggest spike was caused because somebody wanted to have an orgy.
I mean, they could have covered both with having a furry party instead. But
I mean, honestly, the people that were involved, that I'm not going to say it on the live because I don't want to go to the jails. Hi, Nemi. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. We have a underground. Not even underground anymore. We have a swinger community here. Very large swinging community.
It's going to probably blow a few people's minds. Some people probably won't care, but I think I'm going to vote for Biden. Joke. It was a joke.
Why? Because he's a swinger who enforces the police state?
No. I'm not actually going to vote for Biden. I think I'm going to root for Biden. I mean, if it out of the duopoly candidates,
I'm gonna vote for Joe and hope that she wins because America is waking up in the last month.
But if it's gonna tilt, I'm gonna hope it goes to Biden.
I mean, the military-industrial complex did single their health, so I mean, they're setting up for the military coup right now.
I know it goes against my deepest convictions to not root for my oppressor. And honestly, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I will vote for Joe Jorgensen. But what I'm saying is I'm going to, between the two duopoly candidates, I think I'm going to go and say Joe Biden wins it this time instead of Donald Trump. And the reason why I say Biden is just because of how retarded. Now, don't get me wrong. The Democrats have been exactly what you'd expect them to be. A fascist claiming to be anti-fascist force, Antifa, BLM, but they've been straightforward. The MAGA, Trump, Blue Lives Matter crowd has annoyed me so much that I actually just think it's time for them to experience that defeat and to, because you never know what you're getting with them. One day Trump's a socialist. One day Trump is saying take guns. One day Trump is saying all this shit. And then he tweets one time and these fucking idiots continue to defend him.
Of course.
I mean, it's
called mind control through government-sponsored propaganda.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Mercedes.
I know. I just have to say it out loud so others understand what you're saying.
So for the like, I say that I talk to the stupid in the world. Like I talk out there, and sometimes the stupid of the world listens. Sometimes you got to realize, Mercedes, this is a battle that is mental.
Yeah, I know.
And dealing with these fucking mental morons, these people that...
Why do you think I'm medicated, CJ?
I can hear my inner Larry Sharp going, CJ, be nicer to them.
You have to meet them where they are, CJ.
And then I hear my inner Mercedes going, meet them where they are. They're retarded. So I feel like I have to be this person that Do you want freedom, Mercedes? Yes, you want freedom. Do you want your children to be free? Yes, you want it. None of that happens by voting for them. And and none of that happens. And so you sit here and you go, but and then I imagine being at a bar, right? I'm sitting next to a Trumpophile.
That's my favorite. It happens every time I go to the bar.
I'm sitting at a bar with a Trumpophile. His president, stupid in denial. You know, I could write
a good time.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here next to this damn Trumpophile, and he's telling me all about how great the economy is.
I just came up with another verse for that.
Yeah, we should turn that into a parody.
Yeah, it's like, I really did it this time. I punched a Trump supporter and he died.
Oh, that might be taking too far. But
I don't know. Single punch.
Yeah. Mercedes, I bet you after a few drinks you might punch pretty hard.
I'm 5'3", and I have been doing. I don't hit people when I'm drunk because I don't want to go to jail.
Now, okay, that's respectable. Victim crime, we get it. Now, at what point? And again, I go back to, like, for example, convicted. This is really where the Trump campaign had it right. They need convicted felons. Not saying that all convicted felons are terrible human beings, but the true push from the Trump campaign was convicted felons that had influence in their communities and in social networking, that these algorithms pre-selected them as useful idiots and gave them views and content revenue.
They select the voices they want to be heard, which is why I'm never heard on Facebook.
Which, I mean, again, it could happen to any one of us, Mercedes.
I definitely know when they're using me because I start trending better and my likes get up. Like, I figured out the Facebook algorithm. I've known it the entire time because I'm a beta tester.
But you wanna talk about the truth, though. When you talk about these influencers, though.
Oh yeah.
They're designed to stick to a certain script, and I've noticed this a lot lately, and it happens repeatedly. And I don't even know if they're even aware.
They aren't. It's just what's trending right now, and if it's trending, you repeat it.
No. Listen, it's easy to go, all right, guys, like, here's the news for the day. You know, here's the trendy little story or whatever where we can go, hey, look, here's QAnon, here's my opinion, here's my thought. That's one thing. But it's trendy, it's information, sure. But what I'm getting at is that these useful idiots, which is again the only real true way to describe them, are pre-selected based off of their ability to be manipulated, to be controlled. They're not being selected because you're this badass dude or chick that's a free thinker and that you're just going along with your honest opinion on the vote. No, they knew that they could get you to vote a certain way. And they could swing it that way, and they just had to give you a little gas underneath. It's like the whole starting a race with your legs tied or with 50 feet ahead of everybody else.
Is that why libertarians fight all the time? Because we're all independent thinkers who really just all we do is just pick each other's plans apart until it's perfect.
I've heard libertarians argue with libertarians over shit that even libertarians wouldn't argue about with other libertarians.
I know.
But my thing is with libertarianism is again, I think Adam's got it right when it comes to taking off the title of like conservative libertarian, socialist libertarian.
I agree.
But you're never going to get that.
Well, and what happened, what I've seen, because I came to the party two years ago. It's been 2 years, 2.5 years now.
We expect it to be a dulled version of whatever we left.
I expected it to be anarchy. I expected it to be actual anarchist idea tamed down to things that are relevant now, like I consider myself an anarchist, and people are like, oh my god, you can't say that. I'm like, okay, but you need to listen why I consider myself an anarchist. My parents and my grandparents are authoritarians. They are authoritarians because if they are not authoritarians, then the state will do it for you. And you don't
Mercedes,
want the
who's gonna
state.
make my roads?
We make, and that's the beautiful part, which I get to tell people here, we make our roads. In our city, our roads were gravel. The city left them as gravel. They'll maintain the gravel or the brick because that's what was here. If we want our neighborhood roads to be paved, we have to pay for it, and then they'll maintain it. But then it's their property after that. We build the roads, and then the city takes them. They annex us in. We don't get a choice. They're like, oh, well, you can. Like my father-in-law, they were trying to annex his business in because the industrial part is outside of town, and the city finally is there where they're trying to annex it in. They tried to annex him in, so he gets all of his freedom taken away because the county controls him if the city doesn't. And so the city annexed him in.
I always say that we should abolish government.
If I have to pick my ruler, my city has a lot of independents. I'm gonna call them independents. Which is why I'm running for my local government, because I hate myself. And if I'm going to hate anybody in government, it may as well be me.
Okay, I can. First off, I don't think you hate yourself. Second, I think you do hate yourself because you're running for politics.
Yeah.
Now listen, it's one of those things where Mercedes, you gotta run an honest campaign. Like I can guarantee you, with the few people that are watching here today, you're going to get hit piece articles written about you, things that are not true about, a sentence in a comment in a video on a clip that you may have been joking, but they're going to run as a story. They're going to, I mean, I hate to say it, but the fake news is a real thing. I'm not taking that from the Trumpophile argument.
And I just had...
But you're never going to get past the wall. And the wall I'm referring to is not Donald Trump's wall. I'm talking about the media wall with the corporate and state privileges and interests. So
yep. You got to be smart about it.
Democrats represent state privileges and interests. States don't have rights. Corporations don't have rights. They have privileges and interests.
Corporations have rights because they're viewed as individual people.
Corporations don't have rights. They have privileges and interests.
Wait, is this a privilege or is this a right conversation? Because those are my favorite conversations.
Libertarians represent people's rights and interests.
Yeah.
So when you break it down to somebody, and a guy by the name of Chris Marks came up with that again, Republicans are for corporate privileges and interests. Democrats are for states' privileges and interests, meaning the state government. And libertarians are for people's rights and interests. And that's the easiest way to break it down for an idiot out there that's trying to define your party other than what it's not, is that
we don't want the government to have anything to do with your life. We want the government to
That's not necessarily true either.
Me personally.
We want, where governments exist, that they are to be voluntary, free of violence, coercion, fraud.
Yeah, I want the government just to be
fiat
local.
currencies. We got our buddy, Mr. Comment Jim Freedom here. Libertarians have been saying the media are fake way before Trumpophiles started regurgitating
So
it.
it's Jim. Jim started the fake news thing. It's Jim's fault.
It was Jim. No, so...
I believe that we have the best ideas and people shame us for them and then they actually just wait and then steal them.
Yeah, no, that's the other thing is that pedocrats and pedocrats and Trumpophiles, they often look to our party to, and I take for instance,
I've been seeing it this year.
Kyle Rittenhouse is the perfect example of where Trumpophiles and pedocrats really wanted to get the libertarian voice to match their narrative. And there are still libertarians that came out on the it was murder, and there are still libertarians that are coming out on the it was self-defense. I am of the mindset that you're certain revolving certain a certain number of revolvements around the earth, around the sun, does not mean you shouldn't get to defend yourself.
I hold the opinion that if you kill someone, it's murder, but it was, in this case, complicated.
It needs a jury.
It does. It needs evidence and a jury.
It doesn't need 3 or 4 libertarians on a panel arguing with a Trumpophile.
No, but also go to the conspiracy theory side, because that's where I've been living to relax my brain. But I like the biblical conspiracy theories.
Those are good too. You know what I do, Mercedes, to get through my day? I basically imagine a world where Democrats and Republicans don't exist. Did you put that back on?
I did not put that back on.
Oh, that's weird. Or I didn't put it down. Either way.
You did put it down. It popped back up.
Is Jim on here?
I don't. Is Jim? I can't see him. I'm not in the producer's side.
Oh. Well, you know, again, I live in a world where they don't exist. In my 15 minutes. Well, you and I both have to leave here soon, anyways.
Well, my stuff, because I'm not gonna be watching Adam's show today because I have a webinar at 10.
Well, I'm sure you'll catch it on the flip side.
Well,
but
the webinar might be done before he is, so I might pop on.
You can always go onto YouTube and rewind it, and then just watch, and like it'll.
If I don't catch it live, I don't have time to catch up on it.
No,
I'm at that part of my election cycle. Like, I'm only doing this because I had an hour to kill.
We're not gonna get your attention, Mercedes. That sucks. So it's gonna be a pointless show where we might as well just
because I'm the only one who matters in the entire world. Yes, Queen Sadie. Loper.
So, you know, I live in this world where they don't exist, and I say that not with cognitive dissonance. I say that with
in a perfect world.
In a perfect government, they are not the majority or the controlling factor. They are. My freedom is separate from their freedom. My freedom, the freedom that I claim in my life and would defend with my life, is more than theirs. It's not dictated based off their opinion. It's not dictated based off their science. It's not dictated based off of what's popular and trendy with their, you know, amped up social media, handpicked, useful idiot voices.
Is that why I'm never very popular?
Well, listen, it's not about popularity, Mercedes.
That's just
it. I'm not living that life where I go, popular. Do I care what Trumpophiles and pedocrats think about me?
No.
No. Do I care what laws they make?
Hey.
You would think the answer would be, yeah, I care what laws they make because, yeah, I'm running for Senate to stop them from making these laws. Yeah, I see the little stinker.
She is just all over it today.
Mercedes, if we truly do have a constitutional republic, which we don't, but we were, which is what I will. Again, we can. I've already said that if we have a constitutional republic, then and I have self-ownership, then my representative is me.
Yeah.
And you know, but the thing is Mercedes that. I emphasize this with, let's say I become a state senator. Let's just, in a fantasy world, say that I win the election. Now I've got 24,000 constituents that all think, hey, CJ works and represents me now. But what they don't realize is that I am just me. I can do what I please. I can vote how I choose. I can vote the way that I said I would on the campaign trail, or I can change my vote and cause an upheaval when people.
Oh my God! People who can.
But Mercedes, it's a lot of power, and I think that but I don't necessarily, like, I live in a Republican state, and I go, if they have an unconstitutional law, I just
Don't follow the law.
don't follow their law. Well, CJ, I mean, you can't convince me that if 51% of people think that murdering people is okay, that the other 49% just have to be okay with getting murdered. It's not.
That's how you create civil wars.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, what's going on in our country right now? We have division at every level of socio-ideal there
and
is.
we have better guns than last Civil War.
I know. I want a boomba.
Well, I want recreational nuclear war.
I want gnomes that have spicy surprises.
To the Trumpophiles that made it this far, if you cannot buy a 50 caliber machine gun off of Amazon and have it delivered the next day with ammo and accessories, then your Second Amendment has already been violated.
Yeah. Shall not infringe means shall not infringe. And libertarians, this is why we're on watch lists.
Yeah, critical thinkers have been saying it, not just libertarians.
What my favorite thing is that I tell people when I'm arguing with them is think critically and demand evidence.
Jim says all information involved in any criminal court proceeding should be easily and readily publicly available.
They should.
And he's watching on Facebook, not backstage.
It's the Illuminati. It's freaking Murdoch.
G. Lee says we need a revolutionary war, and I cannot agree with you more than that, G.
We are so close to the Fed collapsing in on itself.
The Fed would only collapse if all of a sudden Antifa, BLM, the Proud Boys, and militias from all across this country realize the true enemy of the people
is the state.
Is the state. And
honestly, though, all we need to do. Not us.
And
I don't want to go to jail.
Here's my inner Jim real quick. If the troops defended freedom, they'd attack the government.
I have also had that thought. Mm-hmm. Now I really know why. No, I mean, not us, because I don't want me to go to jail right now. But somebody, and not me, and this idea is not original. I did not come up with it, so I'm not going to get in trouble for it. Should call all the leaders of all the militias and go, hey, stand down and stand by.
Oh, no, don't do it.
Not me. I'm not going to jail.
Trump already did this. But
all of them and go, hey, guys.
There's
it's happening. Warehouse. It's happening.
There's a warehouse, Mercedes, of 100 gear queers that meet up on a weekend every month.
Oh, is that called the National Guard?
No, those exist too. That's a different brand of gear queer. So at any given
they get the real toys. Okay. They get the military toys.
At any given weekend, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of gear queered individual.
Every weekend.
Gear queered individuals is what I call them. They are uniformly and tactically confused.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's why I went with the gym style and just not.
My revolutionary / Civil War attire is my pajama pants and my internet warlord sweatshirt.
I think you shared that with us once.
Now, because this isn't worth it.
You're supposed to train how you're going to fight, CJ.
Yeah, this is how I'm going to fight. I'm the internet warlord. The war is on the internet.
Psychological.
Exactly. The war for the internet is what I believe the next war to be, and you see it.
It is. It's not even the next war. It is happening. The government has said there is a psychological, ideological war on the internet. They have said that there are foreign governments interfering with our election process through psychological means using the internet. But do they project that? No. Why? Because it doesn't benefit the narrative of division. If everybody is aware of what's going on in their election process right now, they would freak the fuck out and lose their goddamn shit.
But Mercedes, all these Trumpophiles and pedocrats, they are the ones that pay attention. We're the ones wasting our votes.
I see them as what they are, slaves to the psychological, intellectual property in which foreign foreign governments are mining from us because humans are the new commodity. So if you are trapped on the internet and you don't like what we're saying, congratulations, they are using you and your brain and wasting your life so that you can make them money.
I feel like that's what's happening to my life.
You're welcome. That's why I deleted. That's why I've always been aware of how social media affects my life. I'm not on social media anymore because I saw how it was affecting my life.
I mean, again, don't get me wrong.
It's on the computer because this is something that I want everybody to hear and be afraid of. I use social media to do my job as a politician.
I don't disagree.
It's scary. Once people realize that they are being used to govern them, maybe they'll wake up. But they won't because Facebook makes serotonin for lonely people by the scroll addiction.
My opponent.
And I know that because I use it when I'm stressed out for my addictions.
My opponent, Brian Breitling, posted to vote for him. Early voting has started. And you know, he's a lawyer. And he's one of them legal type. And it blows my mind how people are going to vote for him in the sense and not understand that they are voting for their own slavery. And when I know,
I don't know. Is he a good one? Is he a good lawyer?
No, he's not.
Is he helping your attorney general get off with manslaughter because he hit the deer?
You know what? I can't even debate the guy because he's too afraid to talk to me, Mercedes.
I at least talked to mine. I went right up to him.
This is what blows my mind is that he's afraid to talk to me. But yet he thinks he gets to represent me. This is again the conundrum.
Honestly, though, if he's afraid of you, he's exactly who you want to represent you.
No. Afraid of me in the sense that I'm gonna expose him for the communist, socialist.
Okay, but you can do that without talking to
slave
him.
Owner that he is.
Avoiding you doesn't change that.
He's being appointed to this position. If it wasn't for me running, he would have been appointed.
That's why I'm running as well, though. Because if I didn't run against him, he would have just
walked into office, and I am the ruler now.
By the way, I'm
the king of the playground. I can go up the slide. I can go up and 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 up.
The paper published, okay, so our local paper did a candidate questionnaire for me and my opponent and published it last night. And I hate myself for what I said, but people love what I said. I hate myself.
All right, Mercedes, what did you say?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
I just want the good life for all y'all.
I didn't say that, which is probably why I hate myself right now.
I just want all my friends to be rich and happy, and I want the good life for all y'all.
Yeah, okay, so says a Libertarian Party homemaker who wants to support medical marijuana is challenging a Republican business developer to represent Kearney in the Nebraska legislature.
I mean, that's almost as catchy as satanic trans person wins sheriff.
Okay.
For Republican Party.
It does, though. Senator Lowe of Kearney is completing his first term in the Nebraska legislature. He's focused much attention on property tax relief. He used the CARES Act funds to give us property tax relief for next year, and LB 1107. And then he's focused on property tax embattlement of the Youth Rehabilitation, or YRTC. It's our Youth Rehabilitation Treatment Center. This year has been a complete shit show. He built a fence that kids can still get out of. Thank you, Senator Lowe, for not doing anything about the actual problem.
Okay, Senator Lowe is what you call a slave owner.
Yes, he is a landlord. He's a slumlord. He owns most of the rental properties in town for college kids and downtown. I have photos of him.
I'm dealing with a slumlord myself out here.
Okay, so the legislature officially is nonpartisan, but Lowe is a Republican and Dan Murkowski is the vice chair of the Tri-Cities Libertarian Party.
Cheers.
Thank you. Lowe's lists his occupation as business developer. Dan Murkowski said she is a homemaker due to COVID-19. Because I've had it like a few times this year, which means I'm high risk and I shouldn't be out in public.
Guess what? Congratulations on your successful career shift.
I know, right? Fuck. But my favorite part is that they said that I am the vice chair of the Libertarian Party of the Tri-Cities. That's all I care about because that gave our chapter and it's the second like fuck how the rest of it went. That's all I care about.
Mercedes, you're an identitarian.
I am not an identitarian. My constituents are identitarians. I want to grow out in the middle of nowhere and grow a beard and never see a single human, except for Cora and Matthew, ever again. And even Matthew and Cora is a little iffy at this point, because I just want to be left alone. Like, if we had 60 acres and I didn't see it for a week, but I knew that they were around me, I'd be happy. So he listed his accomplishments.
We're a long ways away to Mental Health Monday.
Oh, yeah, but I had therapy this week, so I'm good for the next month.
For the next month?
We're on month to month. This is where I was at before the pandemic, too. The only reason why we went down to like once a week or once every other week was because I was watching the world burn in real time and the idiots didn't even understand it, and I can't prevent any of it from happening, so I just have to fucking deal with it. I was giving too many fucks this year, and so we had to just rein it back in. And now I give like 2 fucks.
I don't give any fucks.
3. I give a fuck about my family, Adam versus the Man, and my candidacy.
I mean, okay, if you're talking about those, I mean, those are priorities, not really fucks, but...
They're fucks to give. So
I guess, okay.
They asked me why I'm seeking office, and I'm like, I heard
why are you seeking office?
I don't like it. I heard how unhappy the community is with the current senator, and I did what any duty-bound American would do. I saw we had a need for change, and with help of our community, I decided to run.
Now, Mercedes, your community's going to hear this, see this, read it, and it makes you go, do they really care? Are they going to vote for you? You say you live in a purple district.
That's exactly what I mean is I said this, and my community, the people around me, do support me.
Yeah,
And the community around John Lowe. But this is the best part. John Lowe's friends are telling him they're going to vote for me.
Right. No, but again, Mercedes, that's listen, if you got in, I would give you all the credit in the history of any election that you'd possibly get. I mean,
do I want to?
Listen, you want to, or you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, that's right. That is true.
But my thought, my takeaway from all that, Mercedes, is 2 things. One, your opponent is in that comfortable lie. Mm-hmm. With that comfortable knowing and knowledge that people are going to vote up ticket, mm-hmm. and then vote down ticket because they've been being trained
to go from top to bottom instead of bottom up.
Yeah. And so you're in that unique spot in that middle between 2 parties where, again, you only have 2 people on the ballot or 3.
Just me and him. So right. I have the automatic Democratic vote. It's the GOP that I was trying to get.
You say you have automatic Democrat vote, and I think the same way too. I'm like, well, obviously they're not going to vote for the Republican.
No, the Democratic Party has been helping me all year so that the Democrats know that they're supposed to vote for me. I mean, the Democrats have been using their duopoly power for me.
Put it to you this way. If Brian Breitling and myself got on a public stage where every voter in our district could hear us debate, Brian would lose this election in one debate. He'd lose it because I'd be able to expose how he's nothing more than an appointed, vote for the control of the party, and it's not him being an elected representative. It's him being an appointed pawn. And I'd be able to point all this out in conversation through debate, but because we don't get that for some reason in South Dakota for our state Senate seats, there's no reason why the Republican or Democrat Party are going to give us airtime.
No, they're not going to, unless you're on a.
There's no
other option.
Well, again, I mean.
The only reason why I am getting any of the attention that I'm getting right now is because we have a university in our city, and I'm in with the university I'm a kid of our community. Like, that university helped raise me.
Yeah, you have name recognition in the community.
Yes and no, because I never used my first full name, and I'm married now.
Yeah.
So, and I picked a new name. So if I use my street
Right,
name,
but it wouldn't take
no, as
somebody
soon as
long
they
to figure out
see
who you
me,
are. Yeah.
if my photo's there. But the last answer, because it was 3 questions, the second answer I'm going to skip because it's I'm not going to skip. It says, what are the most pressing issues in your race?
Oh, what are they?
Medical marijuana access, since they paid $1.2 million
This
so
is
that we
where
could vote on it.
This is where I always do these questions, Mercedes. What's the most pressing issue in your race? The fact that we're all fucking slaves.
Yeah. I said medical marijuana access, education system, property
The fact
taxes, and
that
road
we're
quality.
all slaves.
We're all
We
slaves.
are
I'm trying
not
to get
free.
votes. I'm trying to make good feels, not bad feels.
Listen, part of helping us get to a free state would be legalization of
Yes.
nonviolent.
Yes. This webinar
drugs.
is 2 minutes late, by the way.
Oh, well, all right, everybody.
No, I don't. No, stop.
Mercedes.com.
No, I'm not done. I'm not stopping until they start. I'm not going to class until the teacher gets there. Are you kidding me?
Right, well,
26 days, 14 hours, 57 minutes. We're going to get more weird as we get closer. And by we, I mean me. But the third answer is, how will you make a difference if you're elected?
How will you make a difference, Mercedes?
I'll make sure our infrastructure is solid and give attention to education, because we have a public school, private school thing here. We do. We have a huge homeschooling community here in my area. Like, bigly.
Mercedes, all right, give me these 3 questions real quick. Rapid fire.
Oh, shit. What?
Give me these 3 questions you just answered rapid fire, and I'll explain to you how they should have been answered.
Said we need someone to represent all people of our district, not just those with money.
That's a good answer.
That's exactly how I ended the questionnaire.
That was a good answer.
That's how I ended. I said our rural district doesn't have a lot of weight in Lincoln. We need someone to represent all people of our district, not just those with the most money. I'm poor.
I mean, I'll give you the point at the end there for that.
You got to ease them into it and then drive the point home, which is rich people and this system that creates them.
You gotta pull them in,
and then you got to deliver the goods. You can't just go. You can't start with fuck the feds. Taxation is theft. Goddamn. You have to. This is what I need. I'm reasonable. I understand where we're at, and I'm going to represent everybody because I don't care about money.
I will never forget Steve Novotny. Is it my understanding you're calling us all slaves?
Yes.
Yeah. My issue is that we're not free, and you can't prove it.
Uh-oh. I can't. Oh, God. It took over the whole screen. I can't see you, CJ.
Uh-oh.
And there's nice music. It's like elevator music.
That's fine.
So
everybody go to votemercedes.com and help this lady actually stand a chance at winning this election.
I just want chickens and everybody to be happy. And this is actually the Open Sky Policy Institute, not I can turn down that side. Not the Platt Institute like I thought, because I get both of them mixed up.
Mercedes, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. All I want is for everybody to have the good life so we can have the good life for all, y'all.
All right. Later, Mercedes.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. All right, you guys. Again, thanks for Mercedes for coming on and bullshitting with me this morning. We actually had a larger audience today than I've had in a minute, so thanks for those that tuned in. I will be on Adam versus the Man today. Producing that lovely fine show. Hopefully not as involved on screen today as yesterday. All right. So as I like how Mercedes said it, we're gonna get weird. We're gonna get weird in the next 27 days, 26 days, 14 hours, and 54 minutes. It's gonna get weird. Because, again, why wouldn't it? And I'm going to sit here and remind everybody we're all slaves until someone can prove me wrong. Nobody has yet so far. The link has been up every time. And you know what? I wish, I beg for Trumpophiles and pedocrats to come defend their boys, but they don't. They're cowards. They wouldn't. And this is, again, you identify as a Trump supporter in my world, and I just go, oh, he's retarded. Oh, okay. Okay, well, I treat you like you're a retard. I'm not going to sit there and belittle and bemoan you. I'm just going to treat you as the intellectual inferior that you are, the controlled propaganda mouthpiece that you are. I'm going to take your opinions as if my 4-year-old's telling me how to fix a car. You know, I don't take that opinion too strongly. And again, your status justifications and your slave speak is what gives you away. And again, this is the conundrum. I don't want to be popular in this world for exposing the fact that we're all slaves. I don't want to be popular because that's what people think this is about. It's about the fact that I tell you we're slaves. I tell you I've got a family. I don't want them to be slaves. I don't want them to be under this form of government. I don't consent. And you guys that continue to vote for it year after year, election after election, useful idiots. And it blows my mind how many of them there actually are. That's why nothing surprises me anymore. It's been one of those days today, you guys. Just trying to make it through. That being said, have a good day or don't. The choice is always yours.